Thanks, everyone, for joining us. This is the panel of one man on explosive growth. Who doesn't want to grow more? We're going to get right into it, and I'm going to encourage you, if you have a question, shout it out. Let's make this as productive as possible for everyone. So, Jeff, you've got an incredible background, as she just spelled out for everyone. You're doing incredible work helping and mentoring. So, the question on everyone's mind is, what do I need to do with my business in order to grow? What do I got to get right?
All right, I'm glad you asked that because we were blessed enough to have multiple businesses that were startups the size of the ones out here that grew into multi-billion-dollar companies. And so looking back, I wasn't smart enough to know these things going forward, but looking back, went back and said, what were the things we did right that enabled our businesses to grow? And there's a few really definite ones. The first one is understanding that you can't scale until you can get out of the way. Real leaders, a lot of times people ask me as a CEO, I'm working as hard as I can, longer than I ever have, and I'm still not growing. And the reason is because you're in the way. Okay. You can't scale until you can let go. You can't let go until you can empower and trust people. And you can't empower and trust people until you spend less time running your business and more time out of your office hunting for talent. So I come to events like this constantly hunting for talent.
Right.
The key is that real leaders don't build followers. They don't care about followers. Real leaders create more leaders. So your job is to find those rock stars in the crowd and let them rise above you and run your company. That's the first one.
But Jeff, this is my baby. No one else knows this place like I do.
Said every founder everywhere, except the ones that grew. Okay. Because what they said was, and what I realized is, the key to success is surrounding yourself with people smarter than you and then getting out of the way. You do your part. It's the servant leadership model, right? I literally schedule days where I'm not in my office and I'm out in the world talent hunting. I tell my team, don't call me today because I'm not here. They said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to go out and hunt for people smarter than me to do all the things that I'm not good at. When you start letting those people run your company, that's when growth happens.
Excellent, excellent. So that's step one of getting things right. What's
step
another?
2 actually has a common theme, which is one of the studies. So at the Global Entrepreneurship Network that I chair, we teach people all over the world how to start and scale ventures, and we're on the ground in 200 countries now. So we get to see businesses. I am regularly, in the next 3 weeks, I'm in 3 different countries, talking to founders and startups. So we have a good data sample size for doing this. And when you ask companies, why did you fail? Why did you shut down? They always say we ran out of money. That's actually the effect, not the cause. The cause is you don't know how to sell your stuff. That's why you ran out of money. Right. The investors won't give you more because you're not selling anything. So the lesson that we learn is that you need to spend more time out of your office and more time in your customer's life. Literally, when we were building Discount Travel, I would change clothes every other Friday, leave the office again, put on jeans, go to the grocery store or the discount store, and I would wander around chatting with people about travel. The more time you spend living a day in the life of your customer and the less time you spend in your office, the more likely you are to get a product right that people want to buy.
That's amazing. I wonder how many people didn't realize that they are co-founder of Priceline due to those conversations. But, so you mentioned people run out of money. So at what point before you run out of money, what's a red signal to you like, hey, this isn't going in the right direction?
Well, so there is another exercise that we learned to do that I'll share with you guys. On every January 1st, I would take out 2 sheets of paper. On one sheet of paper, I would make a list of what success looks like. But I would do that by asking all my employees, asking my customers, asking my vendors and suppliers, what would a good year doing business with me look like? Then I would go ask my shareholders. Then I would write down on this page a list of what success looks like December 31st, 1 year at a time. If we hit that, right, what normally happens is it's January 31st, and you say, what a good year, and the investor says, what a horrible year. Right. And I'm in the room, and I was like, were you guys not in the same company? What were you expecting to happen? So we write success, and I make everybody sign that paper. If we hit this set of measurable accomplishments and milestones by December 31st, you'll keep funding me, and you'll keep buying from me. If I do that, but I also do a second sheet of paper. I write down what failure looks like, and I make everybody sign that. And my employees, the first time, said, what is this? I said, you are pre-firing yourself. You're firing yourself on January 1st for December 31st. If our company looks like this, I don't need to tell you to pack your car. We're done. So we know in advance what is success, what is failure, and everybody has signed off on it. Makes it a lot easier when you get to the end of the year to say we accomplished something because we knew where we were headed.
That's amazing. And I wonder, can you give any guidelines? I mean, everyone's goal is, I'm going to have a $1 billion exit. You know, like, how do you set a realistic goal for your company?
Okay, I love that question because amazingly, I've been part of 3 companies that became multi-billion-dollar companies, and almost never did we say the word exit strategy. People now, when I listen to pitch competitions and entrepreneurs, they're telling me about that exit strategy. And I'm sitting here thinking, when you guys are telling me that, what's your entrance strategy? What are you exiting? Your PowerPoint? You're already buying a car because you have a PowerPoint? Everybody, the investor community has pushed people to talk about exit strategy way too soon in the process. I'm not saying it's not important, but I'm going to tell you, one day I was trying to think of a way to succinctly explain this, and this is what I wrote on my own board. I wrote, don't chase money, chase excellence, because money follows excellence. Until you create excellence, you don't have an exit. And if you do create excellence, we never talked about a $1 billion company at Priceline. We didn't talk about an exit. What we did was talk about building the most amazingly efficient, operationally excellent company that today does business in 190 countries and is worth about $90 billion. Wow. We never said the word exit strategy. We talked about excellence every day of our lives.
That's amazing. So in working with so many startups, what are some other kind of, to this audience too, what are some problems on the horizon that they might not even have an inkling about at this moment?
So I would say the first one is focus. When you're a startup, anybody that will give you money is a target of opportunity. And so what happens is people tell me, this is my business plan, but somebody a little bit to the left or right of it is willing to pay you money, so you take it. So staying focused, right, is hard. That means you're going to literally suffer along without money longer. But when I studied companies, and we do that all over the world now, the companies that had the discipline to stay focused, I actually, way back at the beginning of the internet, there weren't many of us building companies. So I used to talk to these guys, Jeff and Pierre, they built eBay, this other guy named Jeff that built Amazon. Somebody said to me one day, how do you succeed in the internet? And I said, you just have to be named Jeff, apparently, because that seems to be going pretty well for all the Jeff.
So I'm doomed.
But I noticed that Bezos had the discipline for 7 years or whatever it was to only sell books, even though everybody wanted him to do something. My friend Tony Hsieh, unfortunately, rest his soul, had the discipline at the beginning of Zappos to only sell shoes. So the companies, it's focus. Everybody's going to want you to do something, and you're going to want to do it for money. That is not the path to success. Stay focused on your core mission.
I want to also encourage everyone, we're coming up on our time pretty quickly, so if someone has a question, raise your hand and I'll run out there. Here we go.
Inspiring talk, thank you. One question that I have is how do you build a sustainable business? Why exit? Like sustainable.
How you what?
How do you build a sustainable business, something that can last?
Yeah, no, I got that. But I wasn't sure what your definition of sustainable. Sustainable either means it's green or it means it's profitable. I like it when they're both. So I'm not sure what your definition of sustainable was, but the real answer to that is that you can never get comfortable. I was giving a talk on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, and I wrote on the board, these are the 3 most dangerous words in business, and I wrote, we're doing fine. When companies think they're doing fine, you're already on the downslope. So to stay sustainable, you have to assume every day that tomorrow we won't be doing fine anymore, and you have to constantly talk to customers and observe trends and say, for me to sustain this business profitably, if that's the sustainable we're talking about, I have to constantly adjust my business. Never assume you're right, even if you're doing well. Assume that I'm right now for this moment. By tomorrow, the world will change and I'll be wrong again. So how do I anticipate that? And how do I be agile enough to adapt to that?
Okay, we got another question right here.
Oh, thank you. I work with someone who's an entrepreneur who's not growing, similar to what you were saying, because he probably should step out of the way at this point. He's done very well. How do you have that very difficult discussion that he's done a great job, but it's time to step back and look at the talent?
So the answer to your question is you don't have a personal discussion. You have a milestone discussion. When I counsel people, I never talk about them. I don't say, you're not good, you're not smart, you're not doing it. What I say is, these are the business objectives we need to achieve, and they're currently not getting achieved, so we're going to change something to hit those numbers. Never make it about a person, make it about the milestones, because if that person's not hitting those milestones, why do you have them anyway, right? The beauty of entrepreneurship is we focus on results. Somebody said to me one day, how much vacation do you give your employees? I said, infinite. And they said, how can you give them infinite vacation? And I said, because I don't count it. They said, how do you not count it? And I said, I just count results. If you're kicking butt, you can go to the beach anytime you want. And if you're not, you don't work here anymore anyway, so I don't care what you're doing on your vacation. So that's the same thing. Focus on milestones and just point out that they're not getting achieved and a change has to be made. Or they're getting achieved, but we think we could double that. And we just can't do it on the current path. Make it about the milestones.
Excellent, excellent. We're just about out of time. So, Jeff, I wonder if you could give everyone some homework, something that they can do tonight when they leave here with their business that is going to help them get on the path.
Yeah, I got a great one that I tell people to do all the time. I want you, anybody here that owns a business, I want you to reach out to 10 customers that already bought from you and ask them to tell you the single most important reason they bought from you. And you know what happens when I do that? That thing, 8 out of 10 people will tell you the real reason I do business with you. And 9 out of 10 times, that's not even in your marketing. It's at the bottom. What I discovered is people aren't advertising the thing that you sell. Nobody actually wanted to buy an airline ticket from us. They just wanted to go to their sister's wedding. Why did you come here? To buy an airline ticket? No, I just want to go to my sister's wedding. When you ask people the real reason they do business with you, it will help you adjust your marketing to be way more effective. We were selling weddings and vacations, not airline tickets and hotel rooms.
That's fantastic. I mean, I think what you're saying a lot here is talk to your customers. Find out what people actually want who've bought from you.
Talk to them in simple English, and when you're not selling anything, just ask.
All right. Do you got any other questions? We've got time for one more quick question. Yes. His hand was up first.
Yeah, thank you for your speech about the exits. And what is the best answer for investor if investor asks, what's your exit strategy? Because we don't think about this, we think about our product, but what's the best answer?
Okay, so if you could hear the question, what's the best answer for an investor that's pushing you on exit strategy? I'm going to tell you something that investors aren't going to like. If an investor, I've said this on stage in Silicon Valley in front of thousands of people. In fact, I told them, why do you guys keep inviting me then if you don't like what I'm saying? If an investor is so focused early on exit strategy and not on entrance strategy and not on excellence, get another investor. I wouldn't pick a person that's already pushing you on an exit strategy when you haven't even built something amazing. I want an investor that says, I know how we can crush this market. Let's focus on building excellence. I have operational ideas. The exit strategy is an important discussion, but if it's the most important thing your investor is focused on, I just don't want that person's money. I'll keep looking for someone who's going to help me build my company. And your exit strategy answer to them should be, we're going to build an amazing company. We're not going to have a problem selling it. I never had an exit strategy, and I sold all my companies or IPO'd them all without worrying about the exit strategy. Of course it's important, but that shouldn't be the main focus. Thanks. That's a good question.
Excellent, excellent. Well,
Thank
it
you.
looks like we're out of time. So thank you, Jeff, and to everyone who's here, thank you so much. And do your homework. This guy knows what he's
Thank
talking
you.
about.